the president. The gentleman yields, reserves. The gentlelady from Illinois is recognized. Indiana is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to remind my colleague they can stop all of this pain at our airports by voting this week for our bill, the Pay Our Homeland Defenders Act. Let's remind the American people that the Democrats have voted 7 times against funding TSA. 7 times they've had an opportunity to fund TSA. 7 times they have voted against funding TSA. This causes the second longest shutdown in history. 100,000 DHS workers are going without pay. 450 TSA agents have quit. 49% of the fiscal year 26 TSA agents have worked without pay. 7 times the Democrats have voted against funding TSA. They have an 8th opportunity to fund it this week. I hope they will vote in favor of the Pay Our Homeland Defenders Act. Mr. Speaker, I would like to yield 2 minutes to the gentleman from Florida, Mr. Herodopoulos.
The gentleman from Florida is recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you. I like that recent quote I heard on the floor just a few minutes ago. Let's not forget the dishonesty here. That's a rich comment, very rich. Because as we know, I see the ranking member in the Appropriations Committee is here. They worked out a deal in order to fund DHS, not part of it, but all of it. And the one part they keep leaving out is the idea about ICE. ICE is somewhat important. 10 million people enter this country illegally, and so many of them, as we've seen on a website, wow.dhs.gov, have outlined clearly the crimes that were committed. You need ICE agents to actually go after people who committed a crime, not just coming here, but once here. And many of these violent crimes, we can go through name after name of tragedies, destroyed lives. And they want to play politics with this. And this idea we're wasting time for one simple reason. They won't fully fund DHS in the Senate to pass anything, and they play this game like we didn't take a history class. As a history teacher myself, let's go back and teach history the right way instead of playing games. And more importantly, let's actually fund the homeland so that we can keep our people safe, because there are people in harm's way, and we need ICE agents, not just playing whack-a-mole with different agencies. And with that, I yield back.
The gentleman yields back. The gentlelady reserves. The gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized.
I feel like my head is about to explode. I mean, all this kind of nonsense that's being thrown out here. Let's just state for the record that ICE has years of funding because of the big ugly bill. Tens of billions of dollars. I mean, you put that in that bill. You know, again, the bill that gave millionaires and billionaires tax cuts, you know, that screwed over poor people by cutting SNAP by $200 billion, that cut Medicaid by $1 trillion. You know, that bill, you snuck in tens of billions of dollars. Yeah, and the gentleman doesn't respond. He left. That's fine. I get it. But that's just the reality. So I don't know what the hell he's talking about. And yeah, and to the extent that maybe there was some informal agreement on how to proceed, yeah, there might have been, but that was before ICE murdered U.S. citizens, before they murdered U.S. citizens. And I'm sorry that people on the other side don't think that that's outrageous or terrible or awful, but we do. We do. And our constituents do, and I know your constituents do. Mr. Speaker, I'm going to urge that we defeat the previous question, and if we do, I will offer an amendment to the rule to bring up H.R. 7481, the Department of Homeland Security Appropriations Act of 2026, sponsored by Ranking Member DeLauro, a bill which only funds law-abiding agencies under the Department of Homeland Security and not the unlawful actions of ICE and CBP. Mr. Speaker, the entire mess at DHS is caused by one man, Donald Trump, the guy they're all afraid of, who said that he would rather leave TSA agents unpaid than negotiate with Democrats. Democrats have repeatedly shown that we are ready to fund TSA, FEMA, you know, FEMA, the agency that Kristi Noem, Trump's head of the DHS, wanted to eliminate, and Republicans didn't say anything about. But we want to fund FEMA and the Coast Guard, CISA, and all the agencies acting lawfully. Under this administration, ICE and CBP have not made it over that bar. President Trump's ICE and CBP are out of control. According to the chief judge of the U.S. District Court in Minnesota, ICE has violated 96 court orders in 74 different cases in 2026 alone. Likely more violations than, quote, some federal agencies have violated in their entire existence, end of quote. American citizens have been murdered. This is the root of democratic opposition. These lawless agencies need to be reined in before they receive any further funding. And yes, that is what Republicans want. They want further funding. Ranking Member DeLauro's bill does not defund ICE or CBP because, again, these lawless agencies, sadly, were given plenty of money in the big ugly bill. Even Chairman of the Appropriations Committee, Tom Cole, admitted last night in the Rules Committee that ICE and CBP are, quote, substantially funded. Again, substantially funded. All Democrats are saying is that we should not shower these agencies with even more money until reforms, real reforms, not BS reforms, but real reforms are put into place to protect American citizens. So they need to be put in place. These are common sense reforms. So, Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to insert the text of my amendment into the record along with any extraneous material immediately prior to the vote on the previous question.
Without objection, so ordered.
And, Mr. Speaker, to discuss our proposal, I yield 2.5 minutes to the gentlewoman from Connecticut, the ranking member of the Appropriations Committee, and the sponsor of this bill, Ms. DeLauro.
The gentlelady is recognized for 2 minutes. 2.5 minutes.
I thank the ranking member for yielding. Mr. Speaker, the bill at issue in this rule today is not a serious legislative effort. It is, once again, political theater. It is a bill that has already been brought up several times and has gone nowhere. This would be the third time. Third time is not a charm, my friends. And again, if I take a look at the definition of insanity, it is doing the same thing over and over again with the same outcome. This is madness, what we are engaged in here, and yes, a waste of time. Unlike the bill Republicans have put forward, I have a measure that actually, and I introduced this before the shutdown, that actually has a good chance of becoming law if only Republican leadership would stop blocking it from receiving a vote. They keep saying no to paying TSA employees. Understand here, 85% of ICE and CBP agents are already being paid. So what is the administration doing? They are picking and choosing whom they want to pay. They're holding these other employees hostage for political gain. They view it as a political strategy. They want to continue to fund lawless and rogue agencies. And what my bill would do, fund TSA, fund FEMA, fund the Coast Guard, cybersecurity, Secret Service, and other parts of the Department of Homeland Security on which there is broad agreement. And I have to just say, please, please spare me your concern over federal employees. Where were my Republican colleagues when this administration proposed eliminating FEMA entirely? Not a peep. Where were they when the president proposed cutting cybersecurity by $500 million? Not a peep. Where were they when the president unilaterally eliminated the collective bargaining rights for the TSA workers? They were silent. Where were they when Kristi Noem spent $20,000 to rent a horse so she could sit